This is Comic Picks by the Glick.
Hey, I'm your host, Jason Glick.
Hey, Jason, what do you have for us today?
Well, tonight I got like the latest Marvel like mega crossover that ran throughout the majority of 2025. It's like and finally wrapped up as the year came to a close. I'm talking about One World Under Doom, and hey, it's like I follow these like major Marvel crossovers because okay, I am invested in the ongoing progress of the um Marvel Comics universe. Just like what like the stuff that like dictates what the like how the major narrative is going. And sometimes like that's like really like entertaining, like whenever like Jonathan Hickman does it, what with like Infinity and Secret Wars. And other times, not so much. But this time, this is like a series that has been has like grown out of like not just one previous crossover, but also ongoing storyline in Fantastic Four as well. But we've got to acknowledge the like previous like like major Marvel event, which I didn't think was one, and that was Blood Hunt, which is when like vampires took over the Marvel universe. Whoa! So yeah, it's like that was a thing that happened, and like Jed McKay and Pepe Larraz, like apparently like did a solid take on it. I guess I just could not get like invested in it because like hey, it's just like vampires taking over the Marvel universe. I mean like that's not really a threat and all, but apparently like the big thing about it happened at the end where apparently in order to like finally defeat the vampire menace, Doctor Strange had to give up his title of Sorcerer Supreme to Doctor Doom, who then like dealt with like the vampire threat. Which that's all you need to know going into this apparently. But hey, it couldn't hurt to read like Ryan North's like ongoing Fantastic Four like storyline, which I've generally been enjoying. I mean, North is a guy who's got like a really good science brain, someone who just like like loves like taking like big science questions and applying them to like narrative problems. It's like he had like a good long run with it's like with the Unbeatable Squirrel Girl with Erica Henderson, and he also transitioned that to like his run on like his current run on Fantastic Four, which now is like like branched over like two runs, one of which ended with his One World Under Doom tenure. More on that in a second, but like but North's like storytelling is basically kind of predicated on just solid single issue stuff where like he sets up a really high concept like problem and then just like just deploys some like real world science to solve it, which I've generally been enjoying as he's like like deploy that stuff like on like in his Fantastic Four run. And when we get to like him like masterminding this big Marvel like epic crossover event, One World Under Doom, well, it doesn't quite plan out as like in the same like entertaining fashion I expect. On one hand, this is kind of a good thing because you only need to read like the main One World Under Doom story in order to get what's going on. There is no real like continuity that you need to read like from other stories in order to like understand what's happening. And yeah, I mean to be honest, like hey, like one of the like sort of plot threads that he sets up in the main series, does play out in his Fantastic Four run, which hey, that's fair enough. I mean, the dude is writing like both of these like titles at the same time. So like I'm not gonna like begrudge him for like hey like saying like hey if you want to read about what happens to Ben Grimm after Doctor Doom cures him of his like big rocky disease, then hey go read Fantastic Four. Then yeah, it's like that's fine and all that's good. It's like, and yeah, I did enjoy his like his work there. It's like it continues like the same like like done one, like storytelling, and also just like like integrating like lots of like clever like weird like setups, such as what happens when like the Fantastic Four have to go back in time to the Big Bang in order to get Ben Grimm's powers back. Like that's fun, that's clever. It's like I enjoyed that, and so yeah, it's like kudos to North for just keeping the like the main like the main like event storytelling confined to the titles that he's writing. So yeah, like that's cool and all. But as far as the actual like story that he's telling, well, uh, uh, man, it's like I want to say that I liked it because but the thing is, it's basically a very familiar take on the travails of like of the power of fascism, like more than anything else. Because, well, it's like setup is that after Doom like like helped solve the problems at the end of like Blood Hunt, he became the the Sorcerer Supreme. It's like so and yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like Doctor Strange is just like he's just a regular sorcerer and all, and Doom just basically decamped to Latveria and just hey, just did stuff in order to like secure his power base up until the point where he emerged from behind the barrier he set like in this like in his home country, and basically told everyone that hey, now I am ruling the world. It's like everyone else like you were just subservient to me. It's like, and everyone and all the rulers like basically acquiesced to my power and all. So I mean, there are some people who've just like who've like heard this is like and gone like nope, like Doom is like not beholden like our ruler, so we're gonna like fight back. But Doom has like already seen has already like anticipated this, so he's just he's got the power to like take these rebel factions down. But as far as like the Avengers, like they're just kind of trying to figure out hey, wait a second, if Doom is like like trying to like trying to position himself as like a real like legitimate like world power, well, what do we do here? Well, the story starts off with like Hydra. It's like the people who were like Nazis at the end of World War II, trying to like like enact their will like against like Doom's new regime, and then acknowledging that wait a second, Doom is right, he's got the right idea and all, so we're gonna go ahead and like and like do what he's saying, only to for it to be revealed that that Doom had like replaced their leader Baron Zemo with like a mechanical replicant. And when the Avengers reveal it, oh, like Doom has been lying to you about like the Hydra like working for you. Well, Doom basically says like well, hey, like that was the only way I could get like Hydra, like a obvious Nazi organization, to work for the good of mankind. Then you, the Avengers, just like exploited like exploited this like weakness like to ruin it. It's like you're the bad guys and all. It's like that's kind of like the story we're getting here. And on one hand, I guess like your tolerance for one world under for what North is doing in One World Under Doom will kind of depend on like how long you've been reading comics and all. Because well, it's like if you're trying to tell a story where you're trying to like uh like like engage with the reader the idea that hey, maybe the superheroes like have the wrong idea, maybe they're not like doing the right thing, then like okay, I can understand that. Then this like event may play a bit different to you. Like if you're just like coming into like like the Marvel Universe after like reading it for like recently or maybe like for the past 10 years, then yeah, you'll be fine. But for someone like me who's been reading like Marvel Universe for like decades, and yeah, it's like I realize that's like a strong admission right there. But when you're talking about like, hey, it's like if you're trying to get me to like engage with the idea that that maybe like the superheroes here have like been hoarding their technology like for the detriment of the Marvel universe. Well, you're not gonna pull that off because because like longtime readers, basically like me, basically understand the fact that hey, like the Marvel universe is meant to represent like the world outside your window, so it can't fundamentally change no matter what crazy shit is happening. So when you say that oh, like the like the Avengers, the Fantastic Four, or Hank Pym have like hoarded technology, like that is like like prevented you from like growing to like realize your potential. I call bullshit and basically say no, you shouldn't be calling attention to that because that basically breaks the like illusion of immersion, like for the Marvel universe. If you want to do like a good story about the Fantastic Four, like going on the great human adventure and reducing mankind to just the pitiful followers along, go read Planetary by Warren Ellis and John Cassaday because that is a outside like continuity outside the universe constraints. Basically, like like imagine it's like hey, what if the Fantastic Four were the bad guys? Because of all the stuff they've accumulated like in all their superhero adventures, and they're free to do that because their universe isn't beholden to the Marvel one. So when Doom, like basically like, raises his big argument, oh, like like Hank Pym could have like cured world hunger like years ago if not for his like like hoarding of his like size changing technology. I call bullshit, and I think that that is just like ridiculous in terms of hey, don't call attention to that kind of stuff because you're breaking like the illusion of immersion in like the Marvel Comics universe. But at the same time, though, I realize that hey, maybe like North isn't like writing this for old heads like me, and maybe this like works better for people who haven't been like reading the like these comics as long as I have. But even then, it's like I do acknowledge that that he that he does write a decent story, like illustrating the perils of fascism, especially like, one who was like as vain and vainglorious like as Doctor Doom, someone who just initially like wants to like portray himself as like the big hero, the one who will save the Marvel universe if you only believe in Doom. And while this does gain a certain amount of traction, like you realize that oh wait a second, Doom is like like has a secret agenda here, but then you realize that oh wait a second, he's got like his people paying for his power, like after all. It's like I guess like my main issue with this storyline is that it doesn't like illustrate like a lot of like a good like memorable character like moments in the same way that I've seen from like other storylines like in years past. Like I still remember the bit in Jonathan Hickman's Secret Wars where where Doom when he's trying to like when he's trying to like like maintain his control over the composite multiverse that he's created from all the dying timelines. It's like he's basically saying that it's like hey who like when he basically he's just like trying to like murder Reed, and just he's saying like who could have done this, like who would have saved everyone, who could have like 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 created like a new universe, like from what I have done here. It's like, and Reed is like, no, it's like we both know who have done this. It's like, and you know it as well, like I'm Victor, and Victor's like, God, yeah, I know, Reed. And then um Molecule Man, who's basically been the secret power behind Doom's um like ambition, but he says, well, if you both admit it, then like he so then he just like allows the universe to be made in Reed's image. And there's nothing as clever as that, like in this story. Like if anything, it's more of a like a storyline about just the like how like fascists like will we'll just kind of pursue glory, like as long as it benefits their image, and when it doesn't, then they will just consume, like try to cling to power, like afterwards. And I will give credit to North, though, for clinging on to the idea that in the end, like it's the like it's when the fascists in power like feel like the things that are like important to them, when they are threatened, like that's when they will finally try and act in the best interests, like of everyone, or at least in the best interests of themselves. Because one of the key subplots in this story is how Doom does acknowledge Valeria, Reed and Sue Storm's daughter, like as his goddaughter, and someone who's most not worthy of just Doom's respect and admiration, but his love as well, and someone he will actually make time for, like, so long as she can like get his attention as well. And the climax of the story basically hinges on that. And yeah, I think that's respectable. That's respectable, at least, because I do think that North is trying to write a story about our modern times and all. But it's like, hey, it's like, with but like, it's not really like easy to map who's who onto, like these players in the Marvel universe. But that being said, it's like, I think that this is it's an interesting story about the like the, the politics of power here. It's like that, but it doesn't actually like tell me anything like that's new or interesting. But I will say, at least, that like that North does do the like familiar stuff pretty well. He does tell like he does have a good handle on the characters involved, and the and the like the familiar fashion is bad stuff. Like when Reed does the whole like, Doom, I'm looking at children here, like for the big reveal about how Doom gets his power. That's that's pretty that's played out pretty well. As is the general art from artist RB Silva, who like has done like a lot of really solid like like vibrant art like on X-Men titles over the years. And here, like, well, he apparently, like, I know that the series like did undergo some delays in playing out over its, not just its like 9 issues, but more than 9 months as well. But Silva like does do a good job, like portraying like lots of like impressive detail, like in it, like in his work. In fact, it's like it really is kind of transcendent compared to what he's done, what I've seen him do in his X-Men work. But I will also say that like his work, that his that his less detailed stuff is also kind of like impressive as well. So yeah, this is basically just like further proof of like his skills, and I enjoyed it. But was it good enough to like basically elevate the story being told here? Eh, maybe not. But I guess what I'm trying to say here is that I mean I enjoyed reading One World Under Doom, but it wasn't like a superior Marvel crossover. It was entertaining and all, and and I appreciate the fact that North, kept the crossover stuff like confined to like the other title that he was writing, Fantastic Four. Oh, and also his Gods issue because, well, Gods was a title, a short-lived title, like 8 issues from Jonathan Hickman and Valerio Schiti that apparently that it did try to reimagine Marvel's cosmic and magic side that I enjoyed, but it didn't entice enough readers in order to you know like last beyond like 8 issues. For whatever reason, North apparently decided to invoke its herald of the powers that be, Win, who was the avatar of the like the magic side of stuff, and Mia, who was the magical heir who was recruited by the science side of of things. It's like and it's like and try to like get them into like a a single issue like story that basically had them teaming up with Doom in order to save the save our solar system from from a bunch of hell demons that they were trying to consume the sun. So yeah, that was fun. That was weird and strange in a way that that like North's Fantastic Four stuff has been, and wasn't really in the main series. So yeah, it's like even though it's like like the gods issue is just kind of like a like non-starter in terms of like like what is this going to lead to, like and all. Like I still enjoyed it, and if you've got Marvel Unlimited like I do, then go ahead and check that out. But yeah, I appreciate the fact that you didn't need to like read all of the tie-ins that Marvel published for One World Under Doom, aside from the Fantastic Four stuff. But yeah, it's like One World Under Doom. It's fine. I guess if you're not interested in the ongoing narrative of the Marvel Universe, then you don't need to read it. But otherwise, it's okay. I mean, I'll keep reading like North's Fantastic Four stuff because I've been enjoying it. But this one is just like a very standard like story about the perils of fascism that anyone who has like read any story about hey, fascism is bad, then this story it really won't have any um I get anything else to say about that. Fascism. Eh. So there you go. That's what we got here.
All right. Well, do you know what you're going to be talking about next time?
Well, no, but I hope it'll be as entertaining to me as it is to you guys.
All right. We'll catch you next time on Comic Picks by the Glick.
Later, everyone.